All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast. We are here for Stage 5 of Wisconsin Bass Battles for the 2022 season. It's been a couple nice weeks off. We had the 4th of July and I think the week before that, and now we're back and ready to go. So how was your 4th of July?
I had a great 4th of July. I was up north. I was actually on Miller Dam, which we've got a kind of a long story about that coming up.
Yes.
But go camping up there every year. That was a good time. Did some fishing, caught some fish. But yeah, just a really relaxing, fun 4th of July.
Nice. And for me, I kind of stuck home, did some of my own stuff, had to get a lot of stuff done around the house, and I was making crankbaits for my company. So we're going to actually be testing those out a little bit in the coming months here and seeing if they actually work. So that's the big thing. We got to paint them, we got to put hooks on them, and all the rest of that jazz or whatever with it. So that's what I did for my 4th. And then we actually also did make a trip out to a lake, and as much as we didn't want to have a competition, we still did have a little bit of a competition. Tell us about the impressive bag that we had out on this mystery lake.
Yeah, so we went down to one lake. I have a club tournament on next weekend, so going to be back down on it tomorrow. But we were out on Swan Lake, south of us. I think between two of us, we had just shy of 16 pounds.
For our best Big Five.
Yeah, for combined, and then we each had 14 pounds, but I think we only had like 3/100ths of an ounce.
Yeah,
or 3/100ths of a pound difference.
14.05 pounds. I had 14.02 pounds.
Yeah,
for best Big Five, so quite close. And yet you still edge me out every single time.
It was a really fun day. Caught a lot of fish that day, but yeah, a lot of quality fish. It was a fun time.
Yeah, I think our big one was mine. Somehow I always seem to find the biggest bass, just not the right bass. But I caught a 4-pounder on one of the stretches that we were working. So it was a fun day out there, and it was just kind of fun to just relax. Yeah, we still had a competition, but it was just a nice fun day to relax and kind of break away from the actual tournaments and stuff. But let's get going right into this podcast. It is Stage 5 this week. I guess it's technically tomorrow because this is being premiered on Saturday. This one's presented by Raise Energy. So this is actually a energy drink that came out a couple years back. Not many people really know about it, but it's a very popular thing. I love it because there's no crash with this, and you've tried this as well. It's pretty good. I think you did the Apollo one, I believe. That was like that blue raspberry kind of deal.
Yeah,
so
that was really good.
This has 300 milligrams of caffeine in each of the cans, and they're about the size of a water bottle here. We don't have any because the place where I get them from, they were closed today, so we're out of luck. We're both very tired right now, so we definitely could use it. But there's no crash along with this. They have some really awesome flavors. The Apollo, like I was mentioning, that's like a blue raspberry flavor. Galaxy Burst is one of my second favorites. It literally tastes like you're drinking candy, which is probably a really bad problem. You don't want to be doing that. And then they got like sour gummy worms. I mean, like these guys nailed down the actual flavor to the T on this. So it's really good stuff. If you guys want to pick up a case for yourself, Miles, tell them how they can do that.
You guys can go online. Got the link up on the screen for you, and code WISCO for 10% off on your guys' order. So go out there, check them out.
Absolutely, definitely worth it. It's like in a case of 12, it's like $30, but that 10% off will get you some money off there, and it's definitely worth trying. We wouldn't promote any products that we don't believe in, and this is a really good one. All right, so before we get into what we have going on tomorrow at Stage 5, we have to do a tad bit of explaining for Stage 4. I don't know. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You fire away.
All right.
Most of the
most of it was on my end. So we had a plan to go up to Miller Dam, which we accomplished. We did make it up there.
Yeah, we made it up there. But.
And we had a campsite, and the idea was to have teams of 2 fish this big lake. It was almost a 3,000 acre lake that we were fishing. And so myself and my buddy Cam, and then him and his buddy Mitch, we were going up there. When we got up there, myself and my buddy Cam set up camp, and then we got out on the water, and no more than 3 hours later, he was dry heaving over the boat, shaking, ready to faint, and just overall not feeling good. So we took him back. He actually met Miles and Mitch, and they took one look at him, and you guys were like, no. So
you could tell he was pretty sick. So.
Yeah. So we ended up taking him home on that Friday night, and then drove all the way back up there, and I was going to fish now solo against Miles, and then I went out to go pre-fish on Saturday while he was up at a different lake doing a tournament, and then my motor broke down. So I was on the entire completely other end of the lake from where I launched, so I had about a good 2 to 3 mile journey back with the trolling motor that was halfway dead. So the wind was my friend, but it was overall a bad weekend. To say the least, it's a big lake. We couldn't fish it with just the trolling motor and stuff.
No, it is definitely, it's not a lake that you can just dump in on any random launch and start fishing. I'm sure you can catch fish near the launch, but
it wasn't going to be good.
It's tough to get places out there with just a trolling motor.
Yeah. And then on top of that, like he's saying, it's hard to get those bites right off the launch, but we really weren't finding many bites to begin with, though.
Yeah, it was definitely tough. I think when Mitch and I we fished it for a little bit afterwards on Friday afternoon. When we got done pre-fishing for our other tournament, we went out onto Miller Dam, and then we ended up, I think caught maybe only like 4 or 5 fish. We really didn't catch many, and that was between the two of us in probably 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
So it was off from what it normally was. I've never fished it that early because, like I said, I'm always up there over the 4th. But definitely it was picking up. It was getting back to normal on when I was up there last weekend. So things have turned around, but we were still catching even spawning fish, and I caught one that was even pre-spawn. So
last weekend?
2 weekends ago.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So it was interesting. It was not fishing how it normally does.
Yeah. So with all those factors combined, we made the call to kind of cancel this. So we do feel bad for our sponsored Pulse fish lures. So what we're actually going to do is change them out to another stage that we have. These guys gave us a huge discount, and we want to be fair to them and stuff to other companies that we're just kind of throwing out there because this is our inaugural season. But we're going to switch them to a different stage. But stage 4 is sadly not happening, which means we're down to 7 tournaments overall for the year, and you have 3 wins. So that means all you need is this win this weekend. And also on the other fact of that is that I didn't get my boat motor fixed in time, so we are rolling on this great lake called Little Green Lake with just the trolling motor. It's going to be interesting.
Luckily, it's a small enough lake, though.
It is, yeah. So this picture does not really do it justice because this is in the middle of winter, and this is the only Google Earth image that I could find of Little Green Lake. But to go over the specs of it, Little Green Lake is located in Green Lake County. It's 462 acres, so not terribly big, but it is a little bit on the bigger end of our tournaments this year. Its max depth is 28 feet, and some of the fish that we can find in there is largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, panfish, walleye, and muskie.
Yep.
So
we keep running into lakes with them, but can't seem to get them in the boat. Granted, we're not really targeting them. But
no, unless you want to do a muskie term, we could.
No, I'll pass on that.
So
I haven't caught too many of them.
So what can we expect with patterns, water clarity, baits, and size to expect out of this lake?
So I've only been on this lake one time. I fished with my dad after work one day last year. I think it was like August. I think was when I went. And we caught a lot of fish. Nothing too big. My dad hooked into a giant. We don't know if it was a bass or not. We're pretty sure it was. My dad hooked into a giant halfway back to the boat, or he lost it halfway to the boat. But I've heard there's some big fish in here. There's a little bit of everything really in this lake. It's pretty murky lake. But you've got docks, downfalls. You got grass flats, offshore grass, rock piles, rock humps, islands of one island. But,
yeah.
A little bit of everything out there.
And patterns, I mean, what have you been seeing around the state? I mean, because you've been fishing up at Miller Dam, and you said they were, no, they're not on the spawn anymore. Are we done spawning?
We're 100% done finally.
Thank goodness.
I swear these fish are going to be spawning until October. Where it's going.
Yeah, so we're in the post spawn and kind of almost near the dog days of summer, but not really, but just post spawn basically, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Normal summertime patterns now. So.
Yeah. So there's a lot of docks on this lake. You can throw swim jigs, like you said. A lot of flipping's probably going to be done. There's definitely some lily pads there for some frog action. and a lot of offshore stuff that we can work with as well. So, very versatile lake. It's going to be interesting to see what both of our game plans are. Mine's obviously going to be a little bit closer to the launch, so that's going to kind of affect what I'm doing. But I think I can do a lot with what I have at hand and stuff from the launch where we're launching at. But yeah, he's going to be able to run around the lake and do whatever he pleases, and we'll see how it goes. I'm just hoping that it all works out. And the punishment for this week is the loser of this one has to fish with a Barbie pole or a SpongeBob or whatever you want to call it for the next tournament.
For the first hour.
For the first hour, yeah, not the entire tournament. That would be rough. Yeah, and we have to keep the original line on it. We're not going to 50-pound bait for frog.
That's where the interesting part's going to come in, because the line on those poles, they're not...
Like 4-pound monofilament.
Probably been sitting in a warehouse for 5 years.
So we might lose a lot of fish the next tournament, but we'll see what happens. But they have to use that one pole for whatever tactic. They can't pick up another pole until that hour is up. So it's going to be interesting, and we don't want to lose, so we don't want to have to do that. All right. It comes to our social media. We've been posting a couple things on there here and there. But again, we're going to be following us out with the stories and talk about that.
Yep. Just like all of our other tournaments, other podcasts, post on our stories during the day. We've got fish pictures, keep you guys updated. Just really keeping up to date with us on tournament day while we're on the water. So
obviously you're probably going to see a lot more fish from this guy on there, but it's really fun to kind of cheer us along. I know a lot of my family members watching, some of my friends, and they're all texting me. They're like, you're doing great. And then, when I'm sucking, they're like, you're sucking, pick it up, So, it's definitely fun to do, and definitely fun to have you guys kind of follow along with us. And then TikTok, again, we still have not gotten on TikTok. We're really busy people, Miles more so than myself, with fishing, everything else, and working and stuff like that. So we're trying to do as much as we can. And then YouTube is going to be where you're going to find all that content for podcasts and fish catches and the actual episodes when we actually come out with those. And then if you guys got any questions, shoot us an email, simple as that, or DM us on any of the other platforms and stuff. So with that is the end of our podcast. Do you have anything else for this great lake that we're going to be fishing tomorrow?
Well, hopefully it'll be a good day. I haven't even checked the weather for tomorrow yet, so
it's looking sunny.
Okay. Alrighty, I'm alright with that, so
hopefully not too windy, because I need as much battery power as I can have for the entire
so hopefully tomorrow will be a good day on the water. Hopefully we'll catch a lot of fish, and hopefully catch some size to them too. So
absolutely. Well, feel free to follow us along on those stories again. Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of the podcast for Wisconsin Bass Battles for this inaugural 2022 season. We will see you guys tomorrow on the lake at Little Green Lake.